Hi guys, welcome to my channel Happy High Tarot. In today's picker card reading, we will find out who will you marry and when will you get married to this person. So this was a suggested topic. You can see an image on your screen right now. You've got three options to choose from. Please feel free to pause the video over here and meditate on all your options. Pick whichever one calls out to you the most. You'll find the timestamps in the comment section as well as in the description box below. So make your choice and let's get started. Hi group 1, if you guys chose the first image, let's find out who will you marry. So the cards that came out for it, they are Eben's mystery, reading between the lines, intuition. Then we have Cow, which says give with unconditional love and grace. And Bully, which says highlights your tendency to intimidate others, helps you confront the inner fears that bully you. Alright. Definitely, this is someone who might be hard for you to understand in the first meeting itself because they do have mystery over here. This individual is extremely intuitive. No surprise, we've got the moon over here as well. But hard to read for sure. This is someone whose face does not give away much with regards to how are they feeling or what are they thinking. In fact, it says over here clearly reading between the lines, and I do feel like whenever they are trying to talk to you, conversations might not, the messages might seem very straightforward, but then you will have to read between the lines to figure out what exactly is it that this individual is trying to say. Because although they're very intuitive and they're very perceptive, and definitely with the Cow over here, they're very soft and kind and all those things, but perhaps communication might not be their strong suit. They have very subtle ways of putting across their point though. With Bully over here, you might be someone who deals with anxiety or someone who gets triggered easily, or perhaps you have a lot of fears. When you come in contact with a future spouse and the kind of person that they are, they'll highlight all your problem areas, not with a sense of putting you down or trying to make you feel bad about yourself, but just so that you can confront those areas. You know that okay, these are some things that perhaps require my attention, or this is something that I can do better, this is something that I can do differently. So at the end of the day, it's all going to be for your good. One thing that I like about your future spouse is that they don't mince their words, which is really nice. They will not say things to you which you want to hear, even if they are detrimental for your own good. They'll always tell you what you need to hear. So this is like a personal guide that you're carrying with you. They might be someone who has a twin or one other sibling. This individual, they have a huge heart and it's full of like brimming with unconditional love. They're very selfless. They never do anything for anyone expecting something in return. It's just a sheer act of kindness. They cannot see anyone going through a hard time but then like sit silently and not really do anything about it. I'm also being told that oftentimes people wonder how your future spouse manages to do lots of different things at the same time. So for sure there seems to be an enigma around them. People might not know their exact timetable. People might not even know exactly how many friends your spouse has or even where your spouse lives. They don't reveal too much about them to just about anyone. They do not allow everyone to enter that sacred space, which they call their inner circle. Only few people are given that access, and of course, you will be one of those people. I'm also being told that people often get the wrong first impression of your future spouse because, like I said, they do not mince their words. Plus, communication isn't exactly that much of a strong suit of theirs. They're not much of a chatterbox. So it can seem like they're prudish or God knows what they think of themselves, but that's not actually how they are. Because this is a very aggro image over here, but then I cannot help but notice this little teddy bear in the background. So it's like the vibes that I'm getting is sort of like a gentle giant who seems very inapproachable and stuff, but that's not how they are. In fact, I wouldn't even call it a facade because that's not who this individual is. They're very upfront, take it or leave it sort of a person. I also feel like because they're so intuitive, you will never have to worry about them not being able to understand how you are thinking or or what it is that you are feeling. They'll always know what you're going through, and they'll always have words of comfort, which, of course, seem very nicely blended with good and much required guidance as well. In fact, somewhere with unconditional love and grace, I feel like so far in your life, group one, you might have been surrounded by people who were perhaps had people pleasing tendencies, and so more often than not, you were given the wrong advice, or people would tell you things just to impress you. Plus, I'm also being told, Krupan, that you have a tendency of doing lots of good things for other people, but then there really isn't anyone in your life who does the same for you, who asks you to sit back and relax and, like, I'm going to look after you, I'm going to take care of you. And you might not explicitly say it out loud, but perhaps it is something that you want for yourself. And that is the kind of attention and love that your future spouse is going to bestow you with. Okay, let's get some more details about them. So we have the King of Pentacles, Queen of Wands, and the King of Cups. Nice. So, first of all, let's appreciate the fact that we have a King and Queen over here. So, definitely, this is a very good match for you, Group 1, regardless of whether you're a masculine or a feminine. This is nice. And see, the contrast over here with the King of Pentacles and the King of Cups. Yeah, okay. So, I'm being told that your future spouse is a big softie, but then they don't really reveal that side of theirs too much. What comes across is someone who's very grounded, very methodical, perhaps a bit practical also, doesn't really allow too many people close to him, but sensitive. In fact, I'm not surprised that we had intuition for them, and now we have the King of Cups over here as well. So we have Pentacles, Wands, and Cups over here. The only thing that's missing is air. Okay, Group 1. First of all, your future spouse is someone who's very self motivated. Like, they know what it is that they want in life, and they don't necessarily need a cheerleader. They don't necessarily need someone who's constantly reminding them that these are your goals, these are your priorities. What are you sitting at home? You should be doing this, or you should be doing that, or you have a family to take care of, and blah blah blah. Another thing that I can see with the King of Pentacles is that this individual has a good amount of wealth, which I'm being told that they have created themselves. Perhaps this individual does not come from money, they do not come from a family that is generationally wealthy, but they have amassed a good amount of wealth for themselves through sheer hard work. In fact, with the King of Cups being present over here along with the King of Pentacles, I do feel like your future spouse relies a lot on their gut feeling, their intuition, when it comes to making crucial decisions with regards to their career. With the Queen of Wands over here, your future spouse is someone who has natural leadership abilities for sure, but because we have Pentacles and Cups over here as well, they do not, and like I said, they're not the kind of person who has any attitude problems. They're not the kind of person who has a God complex or thinks too highly of themselves. But again, with Wands being in the center and then these two energies, I don't think a lot of people are able to understand your future spouse for who they actually are in the first meeting. So, in case this is someone whom you're being set up with, or someone whom you've known but from a distance, who knows, you too might be having a false perception of them. And then when you actually get to know them, when you give them a chance, that is when you will figure out that you were wrong about them. I'm also being told that your future spouse is a man of many interests. They might be someone who is very creative, someone who is into gardening, loves to read, loves to write, and specific message, but they might somehow be associated with a children's charity or a children's hospital or some NGO that's working for children. In terms of their career, what I can pick up on is the healthcare industry for sure. So, doctors, nurses, um, I can also see stock markets over here, investment banking, insurance, chartered accountants, and something very creative like interior designing, jewelry designing, fashion designing, that is also coming up. Okay, let's see what do they look like now, some physical traits of theirs. Okay, so we have muscular, jawline, so amazing sharp jawline it seems. Piercing, so they might have a piercing either in their earlobes or apart from that also. Thin lips, mole, so they might have a prominent mole somewhere on their body that doubles up as their identification mark, and they have an oval face. All right, let's see their possible initials. Okay, so we have S I D A Q Y R M, another I, a B, G, and X. Okay, and in terms of zodiac, we have Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, Aries, Leo, Sag, and Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. All right, group one. Now let's see when will you get married to this person. And the cards that we have for it are teacher, which says learning, a new path. Then we have positive movement forward and wisdom. So with wisdom over here and learning and a new path, it is highly likely that you will get married to this individual at a time when you have started something new in your life. So this is either a new course, a new career altogether, new job, or just some hobby classes perhaps, or something on the side that you started. For instance, let's say that you have a fixed 9 to 5 job and you're very happy with it, satisfied with it, but then you want to expand your wisdom and you want to learn something new, so you've decided to pick up an instrument. And so on the weekends you have now enrolled yourself in some class where you learn some dance form or an instrument, something like that. So basically, during that phase of your life, when you are aiming to learn something new, or perhaps when you've taken the first few steps towards it, that timeline can align with your marriage. I also love how we have teacher being present over here, and we'd already seen how your person is with the bully archetype. So for sure, this is going to be one of those marriages wherein both people grow with each other, learn a lot from each other. And I think this seconds what I said, because it says over here positive movement forward. So definitely you and your spouse will help to bring out the best in each other. There's so much that you both will learn from each other. You both will inspire each other a lot. There might be some age gap between you guys, give or take 5 years, is what I'm being told. In fact, if you're one of those people who get attracted to a person's intelligence, I think they're called sapiosexuals, I might be wrong, but if that's who you are, then you know perhaps that is one of the first things that will draw you towards your future spouse, and you'll just really like how much knowledge they have, a whole storehouse of it. With wisdom being present over here with positive movement forward, chances are that someone who's related to you or someone whom you hang out with might inform you about this individual. I am seeing that you might have a destination wedding with your spouse, so not your hometown, not their hometown, somewhere else. And I also like how we have wisdom as the closing card. So definitely you will get the blessings of both the families. Plus we have positive movement forward over here as well. So I don't think there will be any obstacle that you or your spouse will have to face on your journey towards each other, and the ultimate union of it all. Positive movement forward over here with wisdom is telling me though that you both will fall for each other first, and it'll be like a silent acceptance that okay, we both like each other and we're basically treating each other like boyfriend and girlfriend. But the actual proposal or explicitly telling each other I love you and stuff like that, that might happen later on. Okay, let's take a look at your tarot cards now. So we have the Nine of Swords, the Devil, and the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, so we had the King of Pentacles over here, and now we have the Queen of Pentacles as well. So for sure, this is the person that's made for you, group one. But here's the thing. Oh, okay, and this is also interesting. So in the bully archetype, it said it helps you confront the inner fears that bully you. And now we have Nine of Swords and the Devil both. So definitely, either when it comes to love or relationships or the concept of marriage, perhaps in general, it might scare you, it might worry you, because with the devil being present over here, perhaps in the past you have been wronged by people who seemed to be very into you and who gave you false promises, but then they did not really follow through, or they left you with a broken heart. And so now with the Nine of Swords, perhaps you're in a mindset wherein just thinking about opening up to someone, or just the idea of being vulnerable or giving love a chance, these things might scare you. And of course, not just love and relationships, in general also, you might be someone, and like I had said in the beginning, you might be someone who worries a lot or suffers from anxiety or gets triggered easily. And immediately after that, we have the Queen of Pentacles, who's very grounded, right? No fears, nothing, very calm, pleasant energy. And this is the effect that your future spouse is going to have on you. So definitely, I mean, this bully archetype with its light attributes is going to work its magic on you, group three. I'm not saying that they're going to be your savior, and there won't be your contribution in it at all. Of course, you'll be meeting them halfway. But I absolutely love how through the support and perhaps the strength that they will be giving to you, your future spouse, you will combat all these fears of yours. You will come out victorious from whatever it is that's bothering you right now. And another thing that I'm being told is that even though usually when it comes to dating or love and relationships, you tend to get very jittery, something about your future spouse will, right from the get go, make you feel calm enough and safe enough to give them a chance and to open up to them and to be vulnerable with them. Now, in terms of timing, for some of you, this can be 9 months from whenever you see this. For some of you, it can be 8 months from whenever you see this. Since this is a general reading, for some of you, it can be a good 1 to 1.5 years as well before you and this individual get married. Alright, so these are all the messages that I have for you right now, group 1. If you like this reading, do give it a thumbs up. Let me know down in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're new over here, and hit the bell icon when you do so. You can follow me on Instagram for more tarot readings and message me there, or on my email ID to book a personal reading with me. You'll find all those details in the pinned comment and description box. I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Hi group 2, if you guys chose the second image, first let's find out who will you marry. So the cards that came out for it are Grace Tall, which says utilitarian, organized, intimidating. Then we have Sheep, which says act with fortitude and cooperation. And we have Damsel, which says understanding the nature of healthy romance inspires you to rely on yourself. So first things first, this is someone who is extremely good looking, someone who makes people's heads turn. You cannot go without looking at them a second time, that's for sure. But then here's the catch. With intimidating and then right after that Sheep, which is definitely not an intimidating animal, I do feel like your future spouse has a coconut personality wherein they have a very hard exterior, but then they're a softie. They can seem like they okay, so what I'm hearing is resting bitch face. So if you know what that is, perhaps your future spouse has a resting bitch face, wherein more often than not they seem like they're in a very, very serious mood, or that they're annoyed, or that they're pissed off. But when they open their mouth and when they start talking, it's kind of like, like just channeling this energy has me smiling from year to year. So nice, and just it's like they puke rainbows or something. I don't know. It's just really good. Very shocking also, because based on how they look, and they look intimidating. You wouldn't expect a person who looks like that, so gruff, to actually be such a, I don't even have the right word for it, like easy to talk to, so approachable. They don't look approachable, but they are approachable. That's the thing. And they might be a strict disciplinarian, by the way, group 2. They might be the kind of person whose entire day revolves around a fixed routine, which they do not like to break under any circumstances. They wake up at the same time, go to bed at the same time. Every activity is fixed. They might be someone who likes to, who's, I won't exactly call them a cleanliness freak, and I don't think they have any such thing. But yes, they like to make sure that their surroundings are neat and tidy and organized. Might have a bit of a Monica syndrome. They get very restless if they see things not arranged in a proper manner, or like dirt around them and stuff like that. Because this is someone who's very good looking, like very conventionally good looking, I'm being told that oftentimes people think that they are obsessed with themselves, your future spouse, but that's not true. In fact, I'm being told that your future spouse has a tendency to hide their sadness. So, because they're so intimidating and everything, and like I said, look so rough and tough, people feel like they don't get affected by the kind of things being spoken about them. So, there might be someone who walks up to your future spouse and says a bunch of mean and hurtful things, and doesn't really think much about it, because they're like, that person probably does not care. They don't seem to be the kind who'd care. But they do care. It does affect them. They're human after all. But your future spouse cares more about the feelings of their loved ones rather than caring about their own feelings. So they know that if they are visibly upset, or if they are visibly sad, it'll affect the energies of their loved ones around them, and everyone will start worrying and get troubled and ask them what's wrong, what happened, and then take unnecessary tension. And they don't like that. This is the kind of person who wants to take everyone's problems on their own shoulders. The kind of person who can take a bullet for you. The kind of person who absolutely cannot tolerate, to see even a bit of worry, just the slightest trace of it on your face. So they for sure are more than willing to be the first line of defense when it comes to anything and everything. This individual is very, very romantic, very charming. They don't really need a lot of people to help them out with something, very self reliant. And the fact that they're so organized helps with it, because they have a plan, they have their steps laid out, they have a clear cut blueprint, and then they just have to act according to it. So this is a one man army for sure. They're definitely tall. They might even have like those rugged looks of a model or something, but then like I said, that's not who they are at their core. This individual is a very active part of their community. They do as much as they can and as often as they can for their community people, for their friends, for their neighbors, for their relatives, for their siblings. a giver, basically. Your future spouse, they're a giver. I'm also being told that your future spouse is extremely inquisitive, like a child. And I think this inner child of theirs is what gives a sneak peek when they start talking. And that is why this is something that surprises people, because people might expect lots of intellectual or serious talks coming out of your future spouse's mouth, but then when they start talking, it's fun stuff, it's good stuff, it's exciting stuff, it's stuff that gets you wondering, stuff that gets you thinking. So coming back to the point that I was making, your future spouse is very inquisitive. They might have been the kind of kid who would, you know, or what's that word? Take apart things to see what's inside, what's the mechanism, how is this thing working, and then build things back like that. I'm also being told that your future spouse is effortlessly stylish. They don't, even if they, just take a shower and put on the simplest pair of clothes and walk out, they will still manage to make heads turn. So very, very effortless. Okay, let's take a look at your tarot cards now. So we have the Eight of Pentacles, Page of Pentacles, and Two of Wands. So currently your future spouse might be living at a distance from you, or regional wise you both might belong to different cities, different states, or possibly even different countries. I can see that this is someone who is in the workforce. I don't think they're an entrepreneur, but whatever it is that they do, they're very skilled at it, they're very good at it, and it is something that they have been doing for a very long time. So this, your future spouse, I feel like this is someone who started working from a very young age. Like, I wouldn't even say fresh out of college, perhaps even fresh out of school, and college is something that they did on the side, and they started working. Whatever it is that they do, like I said, they're very good at it. It is something that interests them a lot. But Two of Wands over here tells me that they haven't really placed any sort of foundation on them. Like, this is something that I have to do for the rest of my life till the time I retire, or till the time I'm 60 or 70. Because Page of Pentacles over here with Two of Wands is telling me that your future spouse is the kind of person who does not hesitate to pursue whatever it is that grabs their interest. In fact, with Eight of Pentacles over here, your future spouse might be what we call jack of all trades. There's so many things that they're good at. This might be one of those situations wherein someone joins a company as an intern, and then they keep rising within the ranks in that same company, and then eventually they go on, to get very good leadership positions over there. So that might be what the situation is with your spouse. They might be in the travel industry, finance industry, investment banking. I'm also being told consultancy. In general, this is someone who loves to travel a lot. So if this is, and because we've already seen that they're in the workforce, perhaps they work from Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, and then on weekends they set off to explore different places, different cultures, hidden gems in the city. Those are the kind of interests that your future spouse has. One thing that I'm being told over here is that your future spouse does not really worry too much about money. All right, money is something that stresses almost everyone except your spouse, and not because they have tons of it somewhere in their home. Just in general, this does not seem to be someone who associates a lot of value to money or materialistic stuff. This is the kind of person who believes more in living the one life that they have, and making memories and having diverse experiences. So they don't really sit and fuss over money. They either look younger than you, or they might actually be younger than you. They might have Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, or Aries, Leo, Sag in their chart. And again, with the Two of Wands over here with grays and then sheep, this confirms for us that who they are actually, and like that first bit of curtain, so there is a distance. People think they're very intimidating when actually they're not. People think that they're insensitive to whatever it is that you can say or do, but it actually It hurts them, it affects them, it matters to them. Okay, now let's see, what does your future spouse look like? Group 2. So we have, what is this? Slim. All right, so they have a slim build, might be having green eyes. Jewelry might be someone who likes to wear fashion jewelry like crystal bracelets or rings or a dainty locket with a chain, something like that. Toned body goes well with the slim over here. Curly hair, all right, they might have very curly hair or soft curls, and black in color, the hair. Okay, let's see what might be their possible initials. So we have W, which can also be M since they're mirroring. Then we have E, Z, another E, Q, X, a J, A, B, N, V, and another A. So they might have more than one E or more than one A in their name, or their first name and surname both might begin with the same letter. Okay, now let's see, when will you get married, group 2. So we have Archangel Haniel, which says joy, blessings, intuition. Then we have choose wisely, and we have new beginnings. Okay, first of all, with blessings and new beginnings over here, I do feel like your marriage timing will coincide with a period in your life wherein you're coming out of something dark and embracing the light again. When you are ending a difficult period or a difficult cycle or a difficult situation of your life, and abundance and blessings and that feeling of, oh, I do not have to worry about XYZ thing anymore. Just that general sense of relief, comfort, going to bed without a care in the world. If it's currently not happening with you, it will be happening at the time of your marriage. Now with choose wisely over here, I do feel like you already have a lot of options. There are a lot of people who approach you, whether they are marriage proposals through arranged marriage setups, or your friends trying to set you up with different people, or just in general people approaching you, asking you out for dates. But I think it just all gets very, either it gets very overwhelming for you, or whoever it is that has approached you so far, you haven't liked any of those people. In fact, it's quite possible that you've been single for a very long time now, and this new beginnings over here, it won't just be the beginning of a new chapter of your life because you're getting married. I also feel like it'll be the second time around when you get intimate with someone, or get deeply involved with someone, or get into a long term relationship with someone, or give love a chance. I'm also being told with choose wisely over here in new beginnings that each time someone approaches you and you do not like that person, you start wondering and doubting if at all you will ever meet someone who matches your expectations, or who's a good match for you, or someone whom you can see yourself being with for the long haul. And that hasn't happened so far, but of course, with blessings over here, without a doubt, when you meet your future spouse, it won't feel any sort of a miracle. It will feel like the universe has blessed you for your patience, for your good karma, for your kindness, for the love that you give to everyone. And the reward for all of it is your union with your future spouse. I love the look on this woman's face over here, because this tells me that immediately after getting involved with your future spouse, your family, your friends will notice a very obvious shift in your nature, in your personality. I'm not saying that you'll change yourself for your future spouse, or or you'll try to impersonate them or whatever. You'll just be more happier. And that shift, that is what will be very evident, and something that your family, your relatives, your friends, your siblings, they'll all also appreciate it a lot. It seems over here with choose wisely that right now you have a lot of responsibilities. There are a lot of people you have to care for, or a lot of things you have to think about. Your future spouse will give you a break. They'll be like, okay, you relax, you sit back, you have fun, and let me handle things for a while. With new beginnings over here, your marriage can also coincide with you starting something new, moving to a different place, starting a new job, changing your career, or buying something new like purchasing a new house or a new car. Okay, let's take a look at your tarot cards. So we have the Knight of Swords, Two of Swords, with the Six of Wands. So Two of Swords to the Six of Wands over here is telling me that when this individual comes in your life, your future spouse, initially, and because we have seen people, they have a coconut personality and all those things, when you go out on a date with them, you might say to yourself, like, it's a gamble. I'm taking a chance. It's either going to work out or it won't. Because she's blindfolded and she's trying to hit the bullseye. And then right after that, we have the Six of Wands, which tells us that this chance that you will be taking on your future spouse, and because of course they're your future spouse, you will be successful. You would have finally found your prince amongst all these frogs that are currently hopping all around you. And Knight of Swords is telling me that this is going to happen sooner rather than later. In fact, Knight of Swords is telling me that your future spouse is already on their way to you, might even pop up in your life within the next 2 to 6 weeks from whenever you see this. In fact, Knight of Swords is telling me that your marriage will also not take too long to happen once you started dating your future spouse. It won't be a long drawn out thing. You guys won't be one of those couples who are dating each other for 2 or 3 years and then they eventually get married. It'll all be very quick. In fact, it can happen within the same year. Alright, so within the same year, of course, unless and until there's just like 1 or 2 months left of the year to end, not then. But let's say that if this individual comes in your life in February of 2024, for example's sake, then within 2024 itself, you will get married to them. But if I had to give you a broader timeline, I would say somewhere around 6 to 8 months of meeting them. And I've already told you that the meeting might happen approximately between the next 2 to 6 weeks. It can seem very, like, with the Knight of Swords being present over here and all the birds that it's rattling, I do feel like amongst all these current proposals or the people around you or the people that your friends try to hook you up with, this person is going to stand out. And actually that might be what draws your attention towards them in the first place. But regardless, because we have the Six of Wands as your closing card, definitely this is going to be a very, very good marriage, good married life. Full of adventure, full of romance, full of vitality. In fact, if you are someone who has currently fallen out of touch with their inner child, thanks to your future spouse, you will get back in touch with it. If you are someone currently who is not very good at making decisions, or you're someone who is very, very indecisive, you're someone who gets confused easily, you're someone perhaps who battles mood swings every now and then, even when you're not on your period, all of this, like basically the best version of you, a much more confident version of you, a much more assured and calmer version of you will come out when you meet your future spouse, as we've already seen over here with Joy. Alright, so these are all the messages that I have for you right now, group 2. If you like this reading, do give it a thumbs up, let me know down in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're new over here, and hit the bell icon when you do so. You can follow me on Instagram for more tarot readings, and you can message me on Instagram, WhatsApp, or my email to book a personal reading with me. You'll find all those details in the pinned comment and description box. I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Hi group 3, if you guys chose the third image, first let's find out who will you marry. And the cards that came out for it are Anunnaki, which says controlling, drama, conflict of interest. Then we have Grey Squirrel, which says find new ways of solving problems. And Avenger, which says desire to balance the scales of justice, righteousness on behalf of society or oneself. All right, this is a badass, your future spouse, that's for sure. Someone who does not fear authority, someone who will do what they want, someone who will say what's on their mind. They do not mince their words, they're not afraid of calling a spade a spade. Someone who does not back up from a challenge, someone who does not give in the face of adversity, someone who is so goddamn sure of themselves that you won't even realize you might start a discussion with them, and then before you know it, you're already agreeing with them with whatever it is that they're saying. Very good debater. They rattle people's feathers, that's for sure. And although over here it says controlling and drama and all this, that's not how they are. All right, they get triggered when they see something going wrong. Either something going wrong with, like someone not doing right by them, or someone not doing right by society or people they care about in general. So the one thing that your future spouse does not know how to do is letting things slide and staying shut. They can't do that. They have to speak up, and they do speak up. And see, you have to understand, it's not like anybody has asked your future spouse to come and fight their battles for them. That's just something they do. They have such a strong sense of justice, your future spouse, that they cannot ignore any wrongdoing when they're seeing it. With the sun and the moon over here, I also feel like your future spouse is a very beautiful blend of conventional divine masculine and divine feminine energies. Someone who has a beautiful blend of logic and emotion. Someone who isn't afraid of revealing their emotions, but then at the same time, they're very practical also, as and when needed. Definitely an individual who's extremely intelligent with Grey Squirrel over here. They're so smart and they're so fresh with their approach towards everything. The way through which they solve problems, or the answers that they give, for different problems, the solutions that they bring to the table, they're all very unique. Nobody can think the way that your future spouse does. It's like they're in a different league altogether. The way their mind works, it's phenomenal. And it isn't something new. Like, they have been like one of those extraordinarily brilliant people ever since they were a kid. This is a very specific message, but if you know about Mensa, and I think it's called Mensa, that society where the society of extremely intelligent people, your future spouse might be a part of that. Just generally someone who has above average IQ, that's for sure. They don't pick fights, is what I'm being told, but they know how to end fights. And if something is not aligning with what they believe to be true, they won't just accept it. Like, they won't simply accept it and say, oh, okay, yeah, I do not think of it this way. They'll ask for proofs. Prove it to them that what they are thinking is in fact wrong. So yeah, all the best having discussions and debates with them, because this person does not know how to quit. Okay, let's take a look at your tarot cards now. So we have Four of Cups, Four of Wands, and the Sun. They have natural leadership abilities. Leo might be present very prominently in your future spouse's chart. Their personality is very enigmatic. Their personality is very magnetic. People cannot help but feel a pull towards your future spouse. Everybody wants to get to know them. Everybody wants to be in their good books. Nobody wants to be on bad terms with your future spouse. And look, I'm not implying that your future spouse is someone that people should be scared of or something. They're not like that. They're not that kind of a person. They're a nice, happy, chirpy person, except if you know, except if you're wrong. If you're wrong, then they won't let it slide. Family matters to them a lot. Relationships are important to them. Friendships matter a lot to them with the Four of Wands over here. This is the kind of person who prioritizes their family and their friends and basically their personal connections over their work commitments. So if they have to leave something at work and go home, they'll do that. If they have to leave a meeting to attend their daughter's piano recital, they'll do that. In fact, Four of Wands over here with the Sun tells me that the kind of stability that you've always been looking for in relationships, but perhaps nobody was able to give you that before, is something that your future spouse will give you. Lots of emotional stability. And with the Sun over here, definitely they're doing very, very good in terms of their career also. So financial security is there as well. In fact, with the Sun over here, and we have Avenger, most likely your future spouse works in a field wherein they speak on behalf of people. They fight other people's battles. You can't do that. So for sure, legal work or some NGO, they might be a lawyer, advocate, judge, prosecutor, environmental lawyer, might be in law enforcement, might be in the military for a few of you. Sun is also telling me that your future spouse is very popular in their community. A lot of people know your future spouse. In fact, not just by face, but by name also. Like if you tell someone your future spouse's name, most of them will know who it is that you're talking about. In fact, and this is a very, very, very specific message, group 3, but I just got it. There are some of you who have come across your future spouse's profile on social media because they are popular in the community, right? So they might be a public figure. So you have come across their profile once. You must not have thought too much of it, or maybe it's very different from your field of work, so you did not really waste more than 2-3 seconds on their profile and you just kept scrolling through your reels or whatever. Four of Cups over here tells me that your future spouse is a perfectionist. They want things done a certain way, and unless and until that happens, they won't be at peace. Like they'll constantly be restless, hard to please, and definitely someone who will not accept defeat unless and until they know for a fact that they're wrong. Like they won't compromise basically. If you try to bribe them, if someone tries to offer them money that okay, let this slide, you don't really make a huge show out of it and let's settle this outside the court or whatever, they would simply won't agree to it. But you do not have to worry just because I said that they're hard to please and this and that, because the Sun over here right after Four of Wands is telling me that when you both meet each other, sparks will fly almost immediately. Instant attraction that you will feel towards them and they will feel towards you. You both might meet at a wedding for a lot of you. Others of you might meet when you're out and about doing something outdoorsy, cafe hopping or whatever. Some sort of celebration that you're invited to and they're invited to as well. And there are a lot of people in the room, but then your eyes meet and it just clicks. Okay. In terms of signs, I can see Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, and Aries, Leo, Sag over here. Let's see what does your future spouse look like, group 3. So we have long face, okay, olive or brown skin tone, full lips, blue eyes, might have a beard if they're a masculine, and platinum or salt and pepper hair. All right, let's take a look at their initials too. So we have A, Z, E, N, Q, another Z, M, which can be W also, A, P, K, E, and O. So we have two A's over here. Maybe they have more than one A in their name, or their first name and surname both begin with the same letter. Okay, now let's see, when will you get married? So for that, we have balance, which says centered energy and self-care. Then we have harmony and courage. This is beautiful. You've got the lovers over here. And hey, this brings me back to that divine masculine, divine feminine energy that I was picking up on. So if you guys resonate with the twin flame journey, I do feel like your future spouse is none other than your twin flame with whom you will be coming in a union. But regardless, lovers over here has made it very clear that this is a connection that is meant to be. No matter where you go, no matter what you do, no matter where you're living, you and your future spouse will find your ways to each other. For sure. It's a union that nothing and nobody can stop. And in fact, somewhere over here, when I was telling you guys that even if there are a lot of people in the room, when your eyes meet, it'll be, like an instant click. Sparks will start flying. And I'm picking up on that energy again over here with harmony. Their eyes are locked. And there's this beautiful green emanating from their heart chakra. So it's like an instant connection. And okay, so again, this is a specific message, but you and your future spouse might be past life lovers who are reuniting again in this life, which is why too, even though this might be a new person for a lot of you, when you meet them, you won't feel like you're meeting them for the first time because your souls will instantly recognize each other. So you won't be able to make sense of where is this familiar feeling coming from, but it will be there. It'll engulf you. You will feel very safe to open up to them, to be vulnerable for them, to talk to them for hours on end without this thought even crossing your mind for an instant that this is a stranger, I'm meeting them for the first time. Because that level of comfort would have already been established thanks to the fact that your souls are meeting each other again and not for the first time. Now, if I talk about when will you guys get married, with balance over here, definitely your marriage will take place at a time which is very, very busy for you. You might be juggling different jobs. I'm also being told that a lot of you would be traveling a lot between different places. So maybe your family lives somewhere and then your work is somewhere else. And so on weekends you travel back to your family, something like that. Just a very busy time for you. So let's say if you have your own work, too many clients, or if you work in a particular company, then too many projects have been assigned to you and you're being required to travel very frequently to meet some of the other parties, stakeholders. In fact, I like how there's courage over here right after lovers, because maybe group 3, you've closed yourself off to love. You're the kind of people who are solely focusing on their career at the moment. But when okay, so I just heard it'll happen when it has to happen. And so when this union has to take place, and like I said in the beginning, nothing and nobody will be able to stop it, not even you. But what I do like is that this courage is coming after the Lovers card, which tells me that the courage to invite this connection in your life and open up to it and give it a chance for that matter, that courage will stem from this pre-existing bond between you and your future spouse. In fact, courage over here with balance tells me that the timing of your marriage, we've already seen it's going to coincide with a very busy time of your life. And so initially you might be a bit skeptical about lining up your wedding also within that duration or not. But thanks to your future spouse's support, and they might tell you, you don't have to worry about anything, you just focus on your work, focus on finishing your work, I'll take care of all the arrangements, I'll meet everyone, I'll set up everything, you just show up to your own wedding. So it might be something like that. It'll give you the confidence to see this through. you won't get cold feet. If you're, especially if you're someone who currently gets very jittery or gets cold feet just thinking about marriage and living with someone and this being such a long-term commitment, all of those feelings and fears will go away post your union with your future spouse. In fact, a lot of you perhaps could have met this person during the May of 2023 or during May or June of some year. May or June of next year might be very significant also in this connection. Again, another specific message, you and your future spouse might look a bit similar to each other, which happens, and I've seen this with a lot of couples. The more time that they spend with each other, they eventually end up looking like each other. So you guys might be one of those couples. Okay, from your tarot cards, we have Wheel of Fortune, Six of Cups, and the Chariot. Okay, so you guys have the Lovers and Six of Cups both. So without a doubt, for 99% of you, this is a past life connection that's finding its way back to you. And Wheel of Fortune over here tells me that destiny is playing a huge role behind the scenes in your union with your future spouse. If you've ever taken a personal reading from someone, or if you've ever heard a general reading here on YouTube wherein the reader has said that, oh, I'm not able to figure out exactly how will you meet them, I'm not able to figure out exactly when will they come in your life, there's a reason behind it, because it seems like with Wheel of Fortune over here and the Chariot, you're not meant to know. You have to surrender to your destiny at this point, group 3, because this union will happen in a very serendipitous manner. And maybe that is why I was picking up on this energy of, where was that card, yeah, you being out and about doing something, or you being invited to some celebration, and that's just where you meet them. So it'll be very serendipitous, something that you did not see it coming, you could not have planned for it, you could not have prepared for it. It'll not be one of those moments wherein you're like, oh, today I'm going to meet my future spouse, so let me put on my best outfit and look good and smell good so that I give off a very good impression. You cannot prepare yourself for this, but the wheel is turning. So no matter how inactive your dating life might be right now, know that things are happening behind the scene. Wheels are rotating on this. And with the Chariot over here, in fact, your future spouse is coming very, very soon in your life. Very soon. Chariot with the Six of Cups is also telling me that once you meet your future spouse, after that, merely within a period of 6 months, you both might get married to each other. So definitely not a long courtship period that I'm seeing over here. So in fact, for a lot of you, I do feel like next year is going to be extremely, extremely significant. You might get married by the summer of next year, or like I already said, May or June. That is significant. So the exact timing of their arrival is not being shown to us, but what is being shown to us is that the connection will progress very rapidly, and within 6 months of meeting each other, you two will get married. And the third thing that Spirit is telling us with the Chariot is that you do not have to worry just because they're saying that we won't tell you when is this person coming, because they're coming very soon. And the Chariot over here, especially because this witch is on a bike, this also confirms the message that I was picking up on earlier, that you might be out somewhere doing something or attending some event or something when you meet your spouse. Six of Cups tells me, and this is such a beautiful energy, especially since it's lined up with the Lovers, that your connection with your future spouse will be very effortless. It will not be one of those connections wherein you and your spouse have to compromise too much or change yourselves in some manner just so that it becomes more bearable for your spouse. You will like them exactly for how they are and who they are, and vice versa. Alright, so these are all the messages that I have for you right now, group 3. If you like this reading, do give it a thumbs up. Let me know down in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're new over here, and hit the bell icon when you do so. You can follow me on Instagram for more tarot readings, and message me on Instagram, WhatsApp, or my email to book a personal reading with me. You'll find all those details in the pinned comment and description box. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.